The night was cold in Frankfurt, and the streets were quiet except for the sound of boots on stone. In a small, crowded house in the Jewish quarter, a young boy sat beside a flickering candle, turning an old coin over and over in his hand. He wasn't thinking about the metal or its shine. He was thinking about where it had been, whose hands had touched it, and how stories of power and war could travel across borders long before armies ever did. That boy would grow up to become Mayer Amschel Rothschild, and he would build something that would outlive empires. In the 18th century, life in Frankfurt's Jewish quarter was tightly controlled. Families could not freely move, trade, or even marry without permission. Yet within these limits, ambition often grew stronger. Mayer learned early that survival depended on observation, patience, and trust. He began as a trader of rare coins and antiques, but what he was really trading was information. Each customer brought news from distant cities. Merchants talked. Soldiers boasted. Nobles whispered. Mayer listened. He soon attracted the attention of one of the most powerful rulers in the region, Wilhelm IX, Landgrave of Hesse-Kassel. The prince controlled vast wealth and needed someone discreet and intelligent to manage parts of it. Mayer proved reliable. He did not gamble. He did not brag. He delivered results. Over time, this quiet relationship gave him something far more valuable than money. It gave him connections. What Mayer understood before most bankers was that the world was changing. Wealth was no longer just gold in vaults. It was speed, trust, and communication. Wars were becoming larger. Nations needed credit. Trade was expanding. Whoever could move money across borders safely and quickly would shape the future. So he made a decision that would change history. Instead of building a single business, he would build a network. He raised his sons not just as heirs, but as partners. Each was trained in discipline, secrecy, and loyalty. When the time came, he sent them across Europe. One remained in Frankfurt. One went to Vienna. One to Paris. One to Naples. And the boldest of them all, Nathan Mayer Rothschild, went to London, the rising financial center of the world. London was dangerous and competitive. Nathan arrived with little but ambition and discipline. At first, he traded textiles. But he quickly realized that Britain's growing empire meant constant demand for capital. When the wars against Napoleon Bonaparte intensified, governments needed money more than ever. Nathan stepped forward. He organized loans. He moved gold through blockades. He arranged payments to soldiers fighting far from home. At the same time, the family created something revolutionary. They built a private courier network faster than most governments. Riders, ships, and trusted agents carried coded messages between cities. While others waited weeks for news, the Rothschilds knew what was happening within days. This advantage allowed them to reduce risk, protect investments, and act quickly when opportunities appeared. One moment would define their reputation forever. In 1815, Europe stood on the edge of uncertainty after the Battle of Waterloo. Markets were unstable. Fear ruled. Nathan received early confirmation of the outcome and positioned himself carefully. He did not create the victory, but he understood what it meant. Stability would return. Confidence would rise. By acting calmly when others panicked, he secured enormous influence in British finance. From that moment on, governments began to see the Rothschild name as a symbol of reliability. If they backed a loan, investors trusted it. This reputation became their greatest asset. Throughout the 19th century, they financed railways, mines, and infrastructure. They helped build the arteries of industrial Europe. Their capital supported projects that connected cities, powered factories, and transformed economies. But their story was never only about business. Wealth brought scrutiny. Rival bankers envied them. Political enemies feared their influence. As Europe struggled with nationalism and social tension, conspiracy theories began to spread. Pamphlets claimed secret control. Rumors grew louder with every crisis. These myths ignored the reality that the Rothschilds were operating within existing systems, often competing with other powerful families and institutions. At the same time, they quietly invested in communities. Hospitals, schools, and housing projects appeared across Europe. They supported science, art, and culture. Members of the family collected masterpieces, funded research, and encouraged education. For them, philanthropy was not a publicity tool but a duty rooted in tradition. Then the 20th century shattered the old world. The outbreak of World War I destroyed empires and changed financial systems. Monarchies fell. Borders shifted. Many of the networks that had sustained international banking disappeared overnight. The family adapted, but the challenges were enormous. Worse still was the rise of extremist ideologies. During World War II, Nazi forces seized properties, art collections, and businesses belonging to Jewish families, including the Rothschilds. Some members escaped. Others fought to protect what they could. Their survival was not guaranteed. The myth of power offered no protection against hatred. After the war, the world entered a new era. Governments grew stronger. Global institutions replaced old aristocratic networks. The Rothschilds shifted focus. They moved toward private banking, asset management, and advisory services. They entered industries like energy, wine, and investment consulting. One of their most famous modern enterprises, Rothschild & Co., continues to operate across continents. Today, their name still sparks curiosity. Some see mystery. Others see innovation. But the truth lies somewhere in between. Their greatest strength was never secret control. It was cooperation, family unity, long-term thinking. While many businesses collapsed with each generation, they survived by adapting. Their story is ultimately a story about timing. They emerged during the rise of modern finance. They thrived during industrialization. They endured through war. And they transformed again in the age of globalization. Few families have navigated such dramatic change while remaining relevant. And perhaps the most powerful lesson is this: history is rarely shaped by single events. It is shaped by networks, relationships, and trust built over decades. Mayer Amschel understood that when he sat by candlelight, studying coins and listening to travelers. He knew that information, patience, and discipline could overcome barriers that seemed impossible. As you reflect on their journey, consider the world today. Technology has replaced couriers. Markets move in seconds. But the fundamentals remain the same. Trust still matters. Reputation still matters. Timing still matters. And those who understand these principles continue to shape the future. So the next time you hear the name Rothschild, think not of myths or legends, but of strategy, resilience, and vision. Think of a boy in a crowded street who saw opportunity where others saw limits. Because in the end, their greatest achievement was not wealth. It was the creation of systems that connected people, capital, and ideas across borders. And if you enjoy stories like this, journeys into the hidden forces that shaped our modern world, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and stay with us. Because history is not just about the past. It is a guide to understanding the future.